was like, you can let me hit you, which I'm allowed to do, or I can tell your dad, and your dad's going to hit you way more than I'm going to. He goes upstairs to have Mr. Deery hit him, and he goes bare, because that's how his father hits him. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, Yeah. Worst job I ever had.
Worst job I ever had too, man.
I've had a ton of jobs. As every review I ever had there was like, you got to smile and talk more to the customers. And I was like, dude, no.
I do maybe bring me and Josh back, because I love Josh to death, and I really like 95% of what he said, but the whole flat earth thing, man, I gotta convince him. I gotta.
You want to be on? You say you want to be on with him together?
To convince him that the earth is not flat. I promise.
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
not certain of everything, but I'm
promise. Space is fake.
Hello and welcome to the Working Perspectives Podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle. He's J-Dub Justin Richardson. Our guest today is the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Brian Peters. Brian Peters is a buddy of mine from LA Fitness at the gym. We played basketball together. I met him playing basketball. Dude, I'll tell you, great talker, great storyteller. Really, really, really had a great time with him. Justin, what'd you think?
He's a Matt guy. For sure.
He's a big guy, so in the paint, it's pretty tough. Me and him were battling in the paint today, throwing some elbows. I basically have to wrestle him to the ground for him not to be able to score, or dude, nothing's worse than I don't have a vertical. Everyone knows I'm a lateral movement guy. I'm a total lateral movement
I'm a left
guy.
to right guy.
I'm not a left to right guy.
You're
I'm
an
not
east
an
to
up
west.
and down. I'm an east to west. I'm not north to south, right? So I'm under the rim, looking up. The ball is coming to me, and then out of nowhere he just walks and stands above me and goes, and I'm just like, it's a nightmare.
I was here. Excuse me.
Yeah, dude. And then boxing you out in the paint. Come on, man. It's
Nobody likes
impossible. No, it's
Let's do you use those hips as real weapons.
Oh, big time. Yeah,
Gotta
he
use
knows
the
what
butt.
he's doing.
Break
He's played,
round mound a rebound.
But nah, he's done it, dude. It's a lot of fun. But he's just one of those guys, there to play, have fun, but he'll, BS and talk and just be one of the guys and have a good time. So really super excited that we were able to get him on the show and share his story and let everyone know what he's got going on. This is the Working Perspectives Podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle. He's J-Dub Justin Richardson. Our guest today is the one and only Brian Peters. Enjoy. All right, hello and welcome to the Working Perspectives Podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle. He's J-Dub Justin Richardson. On the show today, like we said, is the one and only Brian Peters. Super excited to get this guy on. Like I said, I met him at basketball. I played basketball with him at LA Fitness. Tell you, super good dude, man. Very approachable, very well spoken, easy to talk to. And one of the things I'd like to say is that you meet some guys and they can be kind of standoffish, especially nowadays where social anxiety is kind of taken over and people really don't know how to interact. So when you meet someone that can, interact and is polite and is as good as just being one of the guys, man, it's really refreshing. So super excited to get this guy here. Knew he's going to come on eventually and get a lot of fun. So before we get started, Brian, thanks for being on. I would just like to ask, who does Rocky love?
Rocky Balboa?
Okay. It's a safe answer there. No, not
No,
Rocky
no,
Balboa.
What do you mean, Rocky?
Okay, finish this song lyric. Rocky loves.
Oh man, Emily? What else?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that movie, man.
Oh man, Three Ninjas? Little Three Ninjas action?
I was probably 6 years old when I watched that. Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, dude, classic though. Classic. Loved it.
My daughter, we tried to watch it. We started it, and she just wasn't into it. So
Oh.
maybe one day when she gets older.
Yeah. one thing my brother does with my godson is they'll have movie night on Fridays, and like he'll call me the next day and be like, "Dude, watch D2 last night. It's pretty sweet, man. Pretty sweet. Like that's a pretty good like, dude. Could you
Yeah.
imagine like not bad. Have you had that before? So for everyone listening, this is Brian Peters. You have 4 children, you said?
Yeah, 4 girls.
4 girls. Oh
4 girls.
boy.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Have you had any?
we
Go
had
ahead.
two. We had two, and then you know, my wife was wanted a third and was, kind of eventually talked me into it. Went
Right.
for the third, got twins. So I thought we were gonna have two. She thought we were gonna have three. We ended up with four. Right.
Man,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
4 girls. God bless you, dude.
So a
Wow,
lot of
that's
yeah,
tough.
a lot of princess movies,
Oh yeah.
Frozen, stuff like that. So
Oh yeah. You're
yeah,
unicorns everywhere,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah. It's
they do
Unicorn City.
they do like the new Spider-Man though, into the universe or whatever. Like
Yeah.
they do enjoy that. So trying to get them in a little bit, that type of stuff.
Yeah, nice. That no, then like they do a good job too. Like I think they do as much for the dads as much for
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
the daughters. Like there's like even like little kid Spidey stuff. You know what I mean? And there's like a
Hmm.
girl there, so like my girl will be like, my daughter will be like, I want to be Ghost Spidey or whatever, and I'm like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
but it's impossible to watch some of that kids, dude. I'll tell you, you know what? Do you ever do this? I'll throw on an old school show for my daughter to see if it still hits. Threw on Fraggle Rock the other day, and it hit, baby.
I don't think I'm aware of that one.
Oh my God. Fraggle Rock was a hitter, man. It's like, it's like a Muppet. They look like kind of Muppets, you know what I mean? And they lived in like this, under this shed in this lady's house or whatever. Either way, the song was the hitter. Take your cares away, worries for another day, take the blues away down at Fraggle Rock. So yeah, good stuff.
Was
But
it? I'm sorry. Was it a movie or a series?
series, yeah,
I didn't grow up
yeah.
with cable, but maybe I didn't grow up with cable. Maybe that's why. I said
I
to a
wonder
certain
what
extent.
Nickelodeon, I think was Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle might have been Nickelodeon, dude.
Yeah, so I didn't grow up
Man,
Might
with
have been
I didn't grow up
PBS.
with cable. Like my friends had Nickelodeon, and I was like
Fraggle Rock might have been
an addict when I go
PBS.
to their
I don't
house.
know.
Like,
yeah. Dude, yeah. I like remember, especially too when you got a little older and you had the buddy that had all the movie channels,
oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
the legal
Like,
cable box, and yeah,
yeah. Man, dude, cable was, dude. I mean, yeah. I remember like crap. Like, dude, when's the last time you did any channel surfing? Like, I can't even tell you. You
My
know?
my little brother got YouTube TV and he gave me
Okay,
his login and that
got
has
it.
like a guide and regular old channels. Like you flip through it, you pick what you
Yeah,
want. And
yeah,
that's because that's what you do miss from like you go to Netflix, you scroll for 20 minutes, you got like
yeah,
pick something versus
yeah,
like you go through that guide and you're just like you pick something and then you go back to the guide and like look for other stuff while you're watching it and you end
yeah,
up settling on or like I wouldn't watch Monk, but like I'm like, nothing else on. I watch Monk. Monk's fun.
yeah, yeah,
I watch SVU, but I
yeah,
will. It's a good time.
yeah.
my in-laws have YouTube TV and they like it a lot. I do think like the older generation kind of likes that channel guide type
I want
type
TV to
type
pick.
type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
I
yeah,
don't want to pick.
yeah. I agree. I think my in-laws do the same thing where they like to be able to sit in front of the TV and like scroll and watch and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Where they get
Dude.
confused, like we'll say, "Oh, you're on Netflix. You got to switch to Disney," and they're like, what do you mean? Like what channel is that?
Yeah.
It's yeah.
You're like, all right, let me get my Roku. Oh, yeah.
My
Nice.
parents still have like a $300 Comcast bill. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They're like, what do
What?
you mean? I'm like, you have Netflix, Amazon Prime, all the Comcast channels. I'm like, like you're overlapping tremendously
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Dude,
I
I
don't understand.
do. I do. God, I'm a big glutton for the streaming services. I do have all of them, but
You go to the
yeah.
hood, get yourself a jailbroken Fire Stick. It's got all the streaming services on it.
I
I
mean, yes and no. I had one of those. I wasn't a fan.
from
Good.
2013 to 2015, I worked for DirecTV in the home security side of it, and one of the perks of being in DirecTV was free, pretty much every channel. So HBO, Showtime, and if
Game day
Sunday
ticket.
ticket, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely everything was awesome.
Whoa.
And I was like, I remember like in 2013, I'm like, telling my wife, I'm like, I'm never leaving this company. This is gonna go forever. And then like, 3 years later, everyone's cutting the cord. Like
Yeah.
AT&T bought them, but it was
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
good 3 years. Yeah, to have
Oh,
like
that's a nice
everything.
little run you had there,
Yeah,
man.
everyone would come over to watch Game of Thrones and stuff because like we had HBO. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice.
Damn. You had the Sunday ticket too.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I remember when Red Zone first came, when Red Zone like first hit the scene, like the Red Zone channel for football. My God, that was a game changer. That was incredible. Man, what are you gonna do? I mean, dude, those days, I mean, do you still have time to watch football on Sundays, Bry? Like,
That's like the only TV I get all year is like
okay.
college football and the Eagles on Sunday, and then like
They'll let
like that's Daddy's TV. Like don't change it. So that's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
Nice. At least you get that, But nice. Okay, so let's keep it moving. So I want to get to a new segment. Well, not a new segment. I want to get to a segment. So these are called the disputed questions, Brian. So what this is Justin and I, we've convened on a few things and we don't agree. And we want to see the type of person you are. So we're going to ask you these questions and see what side of the line you fall on. So the first question is, what movie do you think is better? Godfather Part 1 or The Godfather Part 2?
Two, and that's
Two.
I think it's very hard to make a sequel of any movie. So I
Right.
put the question back to you guys. Name me a better sequel to a movie than Godfather 2.
Dude, so great question. I would say this is that one of the best sequels ever made was Mighty Ducks D2 and I know I brought that up earlier, but hold on.
Not sure if Rotten Tomatoes has. We'll have to check that.
The Dark Knight is a better sequel.
Dark Knight. Ooh.
Police.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Police Academy too, but I'm just a sucker.
Yeah, you're a sucker.
Terminator 2, that was a good one.
Terminator 2 is a better
Yeah.
sequel.
Toy Story 2. Would you say any of those are better than Godfather 2 though?
No.
Oh,
As far
yeah,
as sequels go,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I'm saying it's I think the best sequel ever.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, I would agree. It's probably the greatest sequel of all time. So, all right, good. Well, that's the right answer. Very good. What about
Passion
Cheetos?
of the Christ 2? Electric Boogaloo?
Titanic 2.
Return of the Iceberg.
The
Iceberg's Revenge.
Oh,
Crocodile Dundee 2. Actually, you know what? The sequel to Mad Max. What's the second one?
Fury Road.
Road Warrior. That's a better movie than the original.
You're the Road Warrior.
You're
the,
right. Just rewatch that.
The original actually wasn't that great, in my opinion.
It doesn't
I thought the
take
second and
place.
third were better.
Yeah, it doesn't take place in apocalyptic. I remember
It's
watching
making up
it.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
The
And that
original
guy
with,
from Fury Road's in it.
Mel Gibson.
Same villain.
Okay, so the original
Yeah.
with Mel Gibson. Okay.
Yeah.
Same villain as the remake.
Fury Road villain, that like blonde haired guy with like the chest piece and all the metal coming out of his face. That's the bad guy from the very first one.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Lot younger.
The third one has Tina Turner in it.
Really?
Yeah, Thunderdome.
Damn. So it's probably just simply the best.
I'm your private dancer.
You dance up on my. All right. Either way. What? Okay. So what do you say? Crunchy or puffed for the Cheetos?
I really don't have a strong. Maybe the crunchy. I feel like the puffs. You feel like you're not eating much, and you can just house them. So maybe crunchy, but I don't have a strong feeling.
Sure. You're not. You're not gonna die on that hill like I am.
No.
Smart. All right. Good. And then pancakes or waffles or French toast.
I like waffles. I like that you put the syrup and it kind of sits on the top.
Yep.
Crunchy.
Yep. I had this weekend. We went out to brunch. Me and my family, me and my daughter and my wife, and I got what are called pearl sugar waffles, pearl sugar Belgian waffles, and let me tell you, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I mean, yeah. Not mad at it, but
beautiful girlfriend made me banging French toast Sunday morning.
How do you even have a girlfriend that's
so
willing
like
to cook for you? I
thick
just
and
don't
eggy,
get it.
So good, cinnamon,
Yeah.
little vanilla. Mwah.
Wow. I mean, and she nailed it.
Nailed it. Even like
So-
I had 3 slices, so I ate 2 hot and like left one get cold on the counter and ate it like an hour later.
Still
Still
good.
bagging.
Yeah. So, are you ever gonna marry this one, Justin?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
What do you need to get a ring?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not, people think like, oh, just get a ring. It's been pretty difficult, and pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how much chicken sandwiches are?
They're starting to come out with synthetic diamond rings, though, right?
Hype on those, yo. Yeah.
Dude, what is
I don't
it?
want a blood diamond. I want a lab grown diamond.
Yeah.
It's called a synthetic diamond ring.
Out of the lab, I don't know too much. I mean, I'm married.
They take
for
carbon
decades, so
and
I haven't had in the ring days in a while. But yeah.
Yeah, they just take regular old carbon and they pressurize it and make diamonds in the lab.
Oh man.
Yeah. Nobody has to lose an arm. You can lose it. It's not a big deal.
Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't have to die.
I assume they're like, are they significantly more cheaper than a real one, or
probably not? You know how that probably goes.
Okay. What about Chevy Chase or Bill Murray, Bri?
Oh, Bill Murray. Does anyone say Chevy Chase? I feel like
you'd be
surprised.
Like
yeah, I do.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at the chasers around here.
I think he's got such a bad reputation. Like,
Oh, he's a total asshat.
Yeah.
Bill Murray doesn't have the best reputation. Don't be fooled.
He's got a better one than Chase, though.
Speaking of old movies, we just watched. My kids like Space Jam, actually, which it's pretty terrible. Like, I loved it growing as a kid, but like, just it's pretty terrible. Well, I was to watch it, but he was pretty funny.
He's fixing a divot.
Dude, no, Bill Murray steals the show. He's like da 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 da.
That was fun. Do you think there's more room in the NBA for
Oh, he nails it. No,
goes
Murray
out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then last question, most important question. When it comes to eating wings, are you a drum or are you a flat?
I like the drums. I feel like there's more meat.
You see that, Justin? You see that, you piece of shit?
That's a clean sweep. We don't agree on a goddamn thing.
Sorry, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you look at that? He's a nice guy. Look at that.
There's no reason you two are best friends.
Matt bribed me this morning. He bribed me. He gave me.
Yeah.
He slipped him a note. He's like, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. These are the answers.
I was like, if you don't say crunchy, you son of a bitch.
Water park or amusement park?
Amusement park. Yeah.
This kid, he loves you. PlayStation or Xbox?
I've had both growing up. I don't really play games that much. That's another one I've like.
Pick one, guy.
Xbox.
Yeah. Look at you. That's your guy, Matt.
Can't rattle him, Justin.
Did I really get all yours? Did I really?
All Matt's. We don't agree on a goddamn thing.
Wow, that's interesting.
And no, it's good because you don't want to agree with anything with this stupid Strunza. So,
wait, but going back to J-Dub, you like Chevy Chase? I'm like, now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Fletch. I think he's funny. First off, Bill Murray's kind of an asshole too. People like ignore that. He's famously an asshole as well. They fought each other multiple times Saturday Night Live. He goes to like bars all the time and like starts like guest bartending, and like you'll order something, he just gives you like a tequila and lime drink and then charges no one. And like there was like multiple bartenders, like bars have been like, dude, it sucks when he comes here.
Yeah, that's because he's taking their money out. That's interesting.
Yeah, we just lose like $4,200, and they're like, "Isn't it fun?" He like goes up behind you and you're at the urinal. He's like, "No one will believe you."
All right.
And I don't want to take the stance of anti-Bill Murray. I mean, I do enjoy many of his. Scrooge is my favorite holiday movie.
Scrooge is a classic, absolute classic. But okay, let's keep it moving then. So, Bri, want to ask this. And we'll get on this topic, and then we'll get things moving. I just wanted to know, what was your favorite movie at the age of 10?
Probably Predator with Schwarzenegger. I watched I was born in '87, so I grew up like with just '80s action movies, and I remember we were playing like paintball at that time. We just got really into paintball, so I don't know. I just remember growing up and loving that movie with Schwarzenegger.
Incredible movie. Yeah. One of my dad's favorite too. My dad was in he's an Army Ranger, he's a special forces guy, and he loved that movie, and the reason he loved it is because he's like, they really did a good job of nailing like the opening sequence of how the team interacts, right? How like every guy kind of has their thing, like every guy's unique, everyone kind of has a specialty, and they're all badass in their own way, and they're bullshitting and like,
slack-jawed F words.
Yeah. But they're just like busting balls and doing whatever. And it's like, total like alpha gimmick, but everyone has like their own thing that they're good at. He's like they really kind of nailed that aspect of a special forces team.
That's interesting.
But yeah,
And the
that's
body
I mean,
mass in that film.
Yeah.
oh,
Carl
dude.
Withers, the body Ventura,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arnold.
Dude, even
That
that Native American guy, he was like the best dude.
Billy. Yeah.
Billy, man. Dude, and the man, you girl's got a big pussy.
who's the heavy who's the heavy set guy?
Is Echo in here? Mac. He was in another Schwarzenegger movie. He was in Commando. I forget his. Yeah, I don't know his real
Yeah, he
name.
was in a bunch of stuff in the 80s.
Yeah,
He was not
Yeah.
muscular, but he did have mass.
yeah. And he was pissed off. He was pissed off when they killed.
And then the
Ventura.
whole concept of that, it's like, all right, Predator crushed it. We're at the meeting, we're at the movie studio. It's time for Predator 2. We're like, all right, the first one crushed it. We had so much body mass. Who do we have fight the Predator this time? And one guy's just like, Danny Glover alone. And they're like, nailed it. Danny Glover alone. Yes. Where? In the city, of course.
And Gary Busey too. He was the he was in that movie too.
He was
like
the cop,
CIA
like
agent.
following
Yeah.
around the
Yeah.
You know what's a
Damn.
sleeper Gary Busey movie? You ever seen the movie Drop Zone?
No.
No, it's about like a bunch of like a skydiving gang who who robs planes and then skydives out of it, led by Gary Busey.
Let's talk about
Sounds like a
buttered
movie to do.
sausage.
that
Let's
are
talk
tracked
about where
down-
it comes from.
that are tracked down by Wesley Snipes and crew.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's no money train.
No,
Was that also an
No.
80s movie?
I believe late 80s, early 90s, around that. Yeah. Classic. But but all right, let's keep it moving then. So, Bri, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born and where'd you grow up?
Born Bryn Mawr Hospital, probably 10 minutes from where I grew up, which was Broomall, in Delaware County. So like Marple
Yeah.
Newtown High School, Newtown
Yeah.
Square area. So born and raised there from '87 until I graduated college and eventually moved out.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll
I-
tell you. Go ahead, Bri.
Yeah, and as far as like growing up, I listened to your episode with Pat Walsh. Similar, I felt a lot of like similarities in that just grew up outside on the street playing sports. Like my best friend to this day grew up 3 houses down from me, and one of my close friends from the neighborhood. So
Yeah.
seems like a similar type of childhood.
Dude, I'll tell you, that's one thing. I know. What's your opinion on this? I'd love to get your opinion on this. So, dude, coming up, neighborhood friends was so damn important.
Oh yeah,
Right? Like
yeah.
it was everything, the neighborhood, right? Like your neighborhood crew was it. Like, and I feel like a neighborhood crew consisted of like there was a big general crew, but inside the big general crew there was little facets of like, all right, these guys are best friends, these guys are best
Yeah.
friends, like these guys are brothers, these guys are neighbors, like you know what I mean? Like they had all that. But dude, I'll tell you, the neighborhood best friend is like, dude, I'm still best friends with all the guys I grew up with too, like super close. Justin's the same way. So but now I really want to stress that, like for my daughter, like I want her to have that best friend that she grew up next to or near, that was a couple houses away.
I know she's younger.
like-
Are there kids her age in your neighborhood?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there's one that like legit when we moved in, like the first day where they were there, I was like, how old? And they're the same age. I was like, oh, this is perfect. So
Yeah,
and
I
like,
know.
but I feel too like back then it was like the kids just kind of like hung out, and like the kids like this is just what they did. I feel like I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say the parents are overly involved, but I think the parents are a little more involved in the neighborhood friends thing now than it was back in the day. Would you agree?
I guess you probably have to take it case by case. I know ours, like the girls the kids that left right next door. There's 2 girls, one's in 2nd and one's in 6th grade, and like it's actually because they're next door and you can kind of peek outside. It's very common for us to see one of them playing basketball, and then my daughter being like, "Can I go out there?" So like when it's in like lines, like a lot, it's very kind of ad hoc and kind of So we live on a street that doesn't get too much. Like there's people that live behind us, but it's not a neighborhood where you can pass through. Like the only
Yeah.
people driving there are going to a house, so it's not too busy type of street, so it's easy to play out on the street. So
That's great.
So we're in a great neighborhood for that. That's one reason my wife and I joke, like, at one point she was working remote and I'm 100% remote, and we were joking about, like, should we move somewhere else further from the city where the cost of living is low? But we're like, no, we love the school district, we love the neighborhood, things like that. So we're fortunate in our neighborhood, but I hear it's less and less, and you hear some horror stories. So definitely not like it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, true. I mean, true, but like, Justin, I think you would agree. Like growing up in the neighborhood, it was everything, man. Like you and your boys, like it was everything. But I think, dude, that's something that's also rare. It's like your kid sees a kid outside playing. It's like, let's go, time to get out. You know what I mean? Like, that's good on your kid for wanting to do that. My daughter, I think, will do, like, if she sees someone outside, she wants to go outside too. But she's still at the age where, like, if she goes outside, I have to go. I'm going with her. You know what I mean? Like, she can't go out by herself yet. But eventually, I think that'll happen.
Once they get to the age they can go out themselves, it's easier. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say my parents didn't know. Like, my parents called one of my friends Tony Bag of Donuts his whole life, and to this day does not know his last name. They don't know who that kid's parents were. They're like, "Who was that kid who used to come over?"
You mean like the one that was there every day that basically lived here?
Came over all the time. Yeah. Oh yeah, that kid.
Because you weren't like they weren't texting each other. It was like kind of a pain in the butt to call someone on the phone and get their number. Like it was.
You could give your parents someone's phone number, and as long as their older sister answered the phone, it was like, "Is there an adult there?" She's like, "Yes." Like sick.
Yeah. No, dude, they didn't care. Like, dude, once you we're not the age of the biker gang, the kids gang on bikes is over. But like, dude, once you walked out once you walked out the front door, you hopped on your Mongoose or your Redline or your, Dino or Haro or those, I had the Sears bike, bro. It was so embarrassing. I was so embarrassed.
The Sears brand bike?
Yeah, dude.
It said Sears on the frame?
No. It's the bike they sold at Sears, and it's called a Royce Union. And
I remember the Royce Union.
Yep, it was the biggest hunk of shit in town.
It's heavy as hell.
Spray painted, pretend something else.
Bro, I got teased endlessly. They used to call it, I mean, this is not a good word, but they used to call my bike, it said RU on it, right? Like for Royce Union. And they used to call it the retarded uncle. They're like, it was just, but it was stupid kids being kids. But like, like you got on your bike and you wrote, like you went out and like, did the damn thing. It's like, so once you got on your bike and left, it was like your parents didn't know, nor did they care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was rare that my parents talked to me. Like, they knew my friends' parents, but they weren't like, best pals. You know what I mean? Like, they just knew them like through me. Like, it was associated.
All my parents would do was make jokes like, "Hey, just so you know, you can hit my kid," and like pick you up. That would be like all they would say to each other. Like, "Yeah, you can hit my kid too. Bye."
Yeah, dude, you remember Mr. Deery? Mr. Deery. He was.
What's
like,
his favorite exercise?
Oh fuck you! It's push-ups. But
what's his second favorite exercise?
Push-ups. No, we had our one buddy, John Deery. Shout out, fan show, listen to the show. His dad used to like just openly threaten us and be like, "Look, your parents said I can whip your little asses, so you get out of line, I'm gonna fucking whip it." And we're like, "Shit, he is." But he was the best. I love Mr. Deery.
Was that you telling me that story just the other day about him? That he was like, "You can let me hit you, which I'm allowed to do, or I can tell your dad, and your dad's gonna hit you way more than I'm going to."
I don't think it was me. No.
Oh, that's the quick story. Happy birthday. Shout out Spud. My brother. That was my brother telling me that story. He was living there and he did something bad. And Mr. Deery came to him and he was like, "Look, you can let me hit you, which I'm allowed to do. And I will hit you not as hard as your actual father. Or I can tell your father and then he'll hit you later on." And so he goes upstairs to have Mr. Deery hit him, and he goes bare ass, because that's how his father hits him. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. There's no half ass in here. If you're going to spank me, I get spanked bare bottom. You buck up, sir. You're the one who asked for this. You're going to hit me. He goes, "Put your goddamn pants on." My brother has to pull his pants back up. Mr. Deery spanks him, just lets him go. He pulls his
Nowadays,
pants up.
man.
He looks him in the eyes and goes, "You coward! You gotta spank me bare bottom."
You didn't even use a belt, you pansy. Oh, that's too funny, dude. Oh man, you know what's the crazy thing too is like, dude, back in the day, like you think all adults are huge, right? And then you go like years without seeing an adult, and then the next time you see him, like, damn, like this guy's fucking tiny. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, dude, I remember this guy being monstrous, but well, what are you gonna do? But all right, let's keep it moving then. So you grew up in Delco. Delco been in the news a little bit lately as far as like, Mayor of Easttown really put a shine on Delco. But I think like there's a lot more like the Delco, the Philadelphia accent is kind of the Delco accent. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
feel like the Delco accent's really been like used for comedic purposes and obviously Mayor of Easttown and things like that. But what have you noticed anything special about being a member of Delco?
probably. So it's funny. Growing up, like no one, and I guess so I graduated high school in '05. No one really like said, "Oh, I'm from Delco," because like we at that time we played each other in sports, so like we didn't like Springfield or Radnor or Haverford. Like we weren't like one like community. If anything, it was like we wanted to beat the other teams in Delco.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like Delco became more popular. Probably like you heard the name a lot more. I don't know, 2013. After that, it when I first like realized like the accent was when I was in college. I went to Bucknell in the middle of Pennsylvania, and everyone's like, "Man, you got an accent. You got like a Philly accent." I'm like, "Really?" But when you grow up in the area, everyone talks the same, so you really don't
Yeah.
like, you don't really get that. So yeah, it's been interesting to hear like Delco, Monco over the years, just because it's semi new. I'd say in the past decade compared to at least when I was growing up.
No, yeah, I agree. So,
More
okay, so
unified.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, Delco is what it is. But let's keep it moving then.
What's
So
your
you're come
What's your
okay.
like banging food spot? Like you like Charlie's cheeseburgers?
Yeah, that's in Ridley, right? Um,
Yeah, it used to be
Charlie's
across from the
cheeseburger.
swim club.
Yeah, Ridley's got a lot of good places to eat. Um,
Used to be a last stand. You like Nifty 50s. What
Nifty
else is down
50s.
there?
Yeah, that's also Ridley. Yeah, that's like the Ridley area. So Marple, it's funny, they opened Delco Steaks. Talking about Delco. It's it's pretty good. A couple kids from my high school actually that graduated my high school opened that up.
They have
But
it in the Union Stadium as well.
do they?
Mm-hmm.
Delco Steaks.
I'm pretty sure.
Wow,
Is
that's
it
awesome.
any good?
I haven't been to a game
Yeah,
yet. Yeah, they got
I've had it
big
at the
serving of
stadium,
steak.
not at the actual location.
What and it's called and what like they're just a gimmick cheesesteak kind of place?
Yeah, they give you a lot of meat.
All right.
I mean,
It's kind of like a Ray's or a
it's a pretty
Mama's.
good. It's a yeah. It's a pretty good cheesesteak. I mean, there's so
All
many good
right.
cheesesteak spots around here. You can say it's like
Yeah.
the best, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I used to work at this bar called the Pub at Penn Valley in Narberth, and they're famous in Delco because they got the best wings, baby. But
That's
there you go.
we used to eat growing up at Thunderbird in Vermont. Had 25-cent wings. Those were the days. We come in, a couple of football guys, and just house like
Oh,
as many as we can.
dude. Man, what was that place? Remember the place around here, Justin? Giuseppe's at
Giuseppe's,
wing night?
I want to say it was $7.99, and I could be wrong, but I remember like paying with like ones in my pocket
Yeah.
for all you could eat wing night. And I remember
All
them
you could
cutting
eat.
off.
Wow.
I remember them
Yeah.
cutting off our one buddy because he got to like 64, and they were like, "All right, dude, like, come on."
Damn.
I
I didn't
swear it
know
was
that.
under $10. I know it was under $10 because there's no way I would have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what they were thinking with wing night. It would be like, dude, it was just like a bunch of high school kids. They eventually you had to be 18 to get into
Yeah.
it. I remember that because like they'd have like high school kids going in and acting like crazy
Yeah.
stupid. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
they'd have high school kids coming in and eating 125 wings.
Yeah, which is wild. I mean, what are you gonna do? But nice. Okay, so you're growing up in Delco. What kind of sports were you doing coming up, Bry?
Uh, Pre sixth grade did like the whole t-ball, soccer, stuff like that. I was always a bigger kid. So football, sixth grade is when I started to play football, and that was
Okay.
kind of my sport. I played a little bit of lacrosse in high school, but I played football from sixth grade up until freshman year of college. So
Damn.
um yeah.
Nice. What position?
So there's always a little better offense. I guess it's easy to talk about high school. In high school, as a sophomore, I started. at offensive tackle, and then
Yeah.
the nice thing about Marple, I thought it was nice is that like because the team isn't, it's not as huge as Ridley or some of those bigger schools, that you kind of had the opportunity to play both offense and defense just because we didn't have the kids.
Right. Right.
So by junior and senior year, I was playing offensive tackle and defensive end. So I was actually probably better at offense, but at 6'2", 230, you're not going to be playing offensive tackle in, college or anything like that. So that's
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
kind of focus.
Dude, that's
So
still fun though, right? Like, I mean, you got to do like that's still pretty cool, like to have that experience. Like, you played varsity and all that, so dude, that's great. And then you
with
played
a,
one year in.
with with a lot of the same kids that I grew up with, on the same block. That was cool,
Oh,
yeah, kind of go back
dude,
to what you
that's
said. Yeah, yeah,
dude, that's great. Did you?
yeah.
I mean, were you guys? How did you guys do as a team? Were you any good?
We were 7-4 our senior year. It's a shame that they changed the playoffs. Back then, like you had to almost go 9-2 to make the playoffs. And now like 16 teams make it. So
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
probably we probably would have been like a 7 or 6 seed now in the playoffs at that record. But back then we didn't, we didn't make it. But we were decent. I mean, the Marple's not typically like a powerhouse compared to a lot of the bigger schools there, like Ridley and Garnet Valley. But they got a really good coach now, and they've been, getting
Innoboro had
better.
cool jerseys,
Hmm?
right? Innoboro, was that the
And,
Bucks, the black and gold ones?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they weren't. They played Ridley. They weren't in the Central League. But we scrimmaged them sometimes. They were really good my senior year. They
They had
kicked our
cool
ass in the
jerseys.
scrimmage. Yeah, yeah. They're tough kids.
Yeah, we went to North Penn, and I
That's a
guess
good football
that
school.
yeah, yeah, pretty good football school. Yeah, but yeah, that I guess in that time too, they just come off a state championship when you would have graduated. So nice, nice. All right, cool. So then you're playing football, doing this stuff. Did you have any like kind of like subjects or anything that you kind of like lean towards while you're in high school, or did you not discover that until college?
Um, I was always pretty good at math and science. So
Yeah.
my dad engineer for the Philadelphia Navy Yard. Like when
Oh
the stadium's
shit.
on your left and like the Navy Yard is on your right. Like he
Yeah.
worked there, from the day he graduated college to his retirement. My mom was an account.
Whoa.
Yeah, my mom was a bio major, and then she wanted to be a doctor, but kind of realized late she hated blood, so she went and became an accountant. So like my family's pretty good at math and science. That's kind of I took that. I wasn't that big into English and that. So it was math and science. I kind of went the engineering route.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then, all right, and then when was your, how old were you when you got your first job?
So I was a junior. I think I was a junior because of playing football and sports. My parents didn't really care what they wanted me to be out doing something,
Yeah,
whether that's sports or like my dad would take me skiing in the winter. Like it didn't really matter what it was. Like and eventually I guess junior year that was the first time I got a job. And because of football, like the summer started and football camp was going to start August 8th. So it was like hard to find other jobs that were like, hey, I'm only going to be here for like 2 months. Most high school kids are typically looking for like those 3 months there. So
yeah,
my one buddy actually, his dad was really good at detailing cars, and he taught us how to detail cars. So dude, it was a great gimmick. We get paid cash. Me and my buddy would go, we either do it at one of our houses. All you really need is an outlet, a faucet, and some shade when you wax it. So like
yeah,
we'd actually go to people's work. Like one thing that was a big sell, like you go to work, if you have those things, give us your car keys and you're done, your car would be like, detailed. So it was awesome. It was a pretty
dude,
cool
that's
gig.
a great, like, that's a
Yeah.
really good, like,
Yeah, it's like
idea. Like,
Yeah.
Safe Light. They come to your work and replace your
Your
windshield.
window. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
dude, like, that'd be great too. Like, I know, like, we use my wife's car a lot for my kids, so it's a mess,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, like,
Dude,
like, could you imagine being like, hey, hey, babe, got you a little gift. Whoever's gonna stop by and decal your car today. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be
yeah.
great. That's a great
And
little gimmick. Yeah.
and and you're working outside and you're just working with your buddy. Like you're just like kind of, shooting the stuff. So it was cool. Like one thing, it's funny. I don't know if you guys have probably noticed this, but like throughout my career, even small jobs like that, I've kind of learned things that I've carried on. through up till now. And a couple things that job taught me was like always being prepared, because it's funny, like when you're a junior, we would just like, if we're supposed to be at someone's house at 9, we'd like throw the stuff in the car, and then we drive, I don't know, but once we went out to Westchester, and we showed up at 9, and then we started working, and like an hour into it, it was the soccer mom's terrible minivan, had all this stains, and we ran out of degreaser. So this is 2003, so like GPS isn't popular, right? So, and we're not familiar with Westchester, so like my buddies, and you're kind of embarrassed to ask the people you're doing it, like, hey, where's like your local Pep Boys or like or Kmart? So like he's got like the map out, and I'm like, oh, I think if you go, so like, yeah, I remember he like disappeared for an hour, and I'm like detailing the car. So like that kind of like, that job definitely taught me to always be prepared. Just don't like show up. You kind of have to be prepared. And after that, we always brought 2 of everything. So
smart.
yeah. And the other funny thing that kind of taught me was that like we started in June, and we thought we'd be good until football season started, because we didn't have to be anywhere, right? So if a car we thought was going to take 3 hours, if it took 4 or 5, we just wanted to like make it look nice. Yeah. So we had a good product. So we thought we'd be good from the time we started till football started. But like after 1 month, we were working like 6 days a week. After 1 month, we're like, oh crap, like we kind of hit everyone we know. And like, if you got your car done a month ago, you're not going to get a full detail, And this is pre-Facebook. Like, there was no place to. I think we put an ad in the newspaper, but like, if you don't know us, like, who's gonna like, give your car keys to a 15-year-old? So that's when I learned marketing is important to. It's not just the product that you do, but marketing.
Dude,
but,
that's still, I mean, it's a good, not a bad. Like, it's not a bad gimmick now, though. Like, that's actually a really good idea. But the fact that, one, you guys, like, the valuable stuff you learned there of, like, you held yourselves accountable, right? You took pride in your work, especially at that age. It's very rare to find, like, younger kids that are willing to be like, look, we're putting in the extra time because we want to make this look good, and we want the customer to be satisfied. Like, we don't care how long it takes. Like, very rare at that age, and so it's commendable that you guys had that type of work ethic and that type of business savvy to be able to pull that off. And like, you knew like you had overhead and things like that for supplies and stuff, like, preparing for all that. Like, seems like this was a really valuable lesson that you got. What came
another cool thing, like, I'm gonna like try to get my kids into it. Like, when I went to college, like winter break, a lot of times you come back and like it's hard to get a job for like a month. But that's when I would detail like everyone that I used to know. A lot of them would want to get it once a year. So like I would just detail as many cars as I could every winter break. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I literally did it up until I graduated college. So
dude, that's
I'm
a
sorry,
great one. No, but that's a great, I mean, winter break as well, because no one wants to wash their freaking car in the winter. You know what I mean? Like, so that's perfect timing, Damn, yeah, dude, another great idea, man. Look at you. So,
dude, one last story about that. It's funny because
go.
like some people like didn't care where they like. It was easy to do at people's house, but because you just drive there and then you leave, But there's this one guy who had God, it was the 7 Series Beamer, and his house was like totally fine to do it, but we would always tell him, we were like, it's easier to do at our house, so can we just like take your car, because like he had like 3 cars, it didn't matter. He also had a Maserati, and we'd be like, we just take your, he was like a lawyer, really nice guy. We're like, we just like take your car, it's easier to do at our house. So like we would detail it, and then like, for the next hour we'd be driving it, we like go to the local Wawa, we'd eat lunch, like everyone's looking at me and my buddy.
Yeah.
Why are they driving these $100,000 cars? So
yeah, just pull up next to someone at the light, be like, hey lady. Yeah, we're 16, we have $100,000 car, no big deal.
Yeah.
Nice, dude, that's great. What job did you have after that?
Then when I was in school in the spring of my senior year, I worked at Giant food stores.
I worked at Giant. I was a cashier.
Dude, same here, man. I hated it.
Worst job I ever had.
Worst job I ever had too, man.
I've had a ton of jobs. As every review I ever had there was like, you got to smile and talk more to the customers. And I was like, dude, no. The white people are the worst. I had a lady who one time, like, her 10-cent coupon didn't work and was like, all right, well, I don't want the thing. I was like, yo, I'll give you 10 cents to not dig it out of your grocery bags or anything. Like, you out of your mind?
Yeah, that definitely taught me, like, if you hate your job, it doesn't matter how much money you make. Like, you can't do a job that you hate because you'll just like, not that Giant pays a lot, but just in general, like,
No, I mean, they
like
didn't. They paid good for back like when I worked there. Like, I worked there when I was like 17, and it was like not bad. It was like $15 or $16, maybe something
oh
crazy. I
wow,
don't know. That might be high, but whatever. Like, and you could get high in the parking lot, like on your breaks. And I was a concrete cowboy for a little bit. I was wrangling up the Silver Buffalo and bringing in carts and stuff. That wasn't too bad. And I get in this full blown fight with this dude one day, like to the point where I'm like, "Have a nice day," and he's like, "Fuck you, asshole." Like, it got like heated.
this is a customer or another Giant employee? Okay,
We were like checking out, and he was like,
All
"Fuck you." I was like, hey, "Thanks, have a good day." And he goes to talk to my manager, and I go to my English teacher in 11th grade, and I'm like behind her desk, like she's like showing me something, and I see the picture of her and her husband. I go, "Is that your husband?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "I work at Giant. I saw him this week." He goes, "Are you the asshole cashier at Giant?" I go, "Yeah, that's me." And she just started dying laughing. She's like, "That's you?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, your husband's a dick."
What did she say to that?
She just started dying. She's like, she's like, honestly, the description fits. I now putting the face to the person. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I was in 12th grade in that 11th grade English class because I refused to take 11th grade English with this other teacher.
that's funny. Yeah, I think I was also in 12th grade when I worked there too. Dude, I had a funny. I remember they quickly taught like how the register worked, but I feel like I was thrown into the fire like almost immediately.
Oh, yeah. And it was
and
like, if it fucks up, you just like turn the light on and then
yeah,
someone will come over
get
and fix
help.
it for you.
Yeah, dude. So I remember my first day, I felt like an idiot. So they dude, I don't know about you, but I noticed like the people that paid with food stamps, a lot of them were kind of like embarrassed. Like I remember at first, I was like, they'd hang around in front of the cashiers, and like I felt like why aren't they checking out? Like, and then if my lane was clear, they would kind of go quick, and then try to check it. I don't know if it was like a pride thing, not seeing anyone like paying with food stamps. Dude, my first day, the guy like hands me like the stamps. Like back then, it was literally like I think it's a card now, but it was like it almost looked like stamps. And like I
You
had
would have
no
different
idea.
checks for different things.
Yeah, and it was I didn't know what to do with it. So this guy who was like trying to just go quick, I'm like my supervisor was Mary. I'm like, "Hey Mary, this guy's trying to pay with these stamp things."
Oh no.
Like, and as soon as I said it, like I could see like his head went down. I'm like, "Oh no, oh no, what have I done?" No. And she came like sprinting over. Yeah, it was. Oh, I felt so bad. I was
The WIC used to be, back when I worked there, it would be literal paper checks that you had to like run through the top of the register to like print this number on there. It became like a whole ordeal, and there'd be like a woman crying, holding with a black eye, and like 7 kids of Similac. You're like, dude, just take it. I won't say anything.
Yeah.
And they always had like one order. They'd have like one order for what could be covered on food stamps, another one that like couldn't, and then like cigarettes, and it was like it was always complex.
So you could get, dude, that's so funny you said that. So you can get crab legs with your EBT card. But remember, you could also have like the crab legs steamed in the back, like for you. So if you do that, you can't use your EBT cards for that, yo. And I was working at Giant, and that is what happened. Is someone came into line with crab legs, but they were pre-steamed, and like it wouldn't work because the code I put in, and they were like, and the chaos that ensued.
I bet. Nice. So okay.
I'm glad you hated that job too, though. Yeah. God bless anyone that's a cashier.
There was a kid who worked in the bakery, had one of those conversion vans that had like captain seats and like had the TV built in, like from the early 90s. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like in the back headrest, and he had a Super Nintendo hooked in, and he sold weed, and he would park in the side lot of Giant. So like I would time all my breaks up with that kid, and that's like the only reason I stayed there for so long. Was I was like, dude, we can go in this big van and get high and play video games for 15 minutes, and that's all right.
Dude, I mean, we've had a bunch of people that have worked at grocery stores on this show, and no one has liked that job.
No.
Like
Everyone's miserable.
Like, how about you? Like, my store had like lifers in it too, though. Like that, I'm just surprised. Like, I don't know how they.
Dude, there's some people that once they get in it, they're in it, man.
We were talking about. So I had a lifer at my store. I used to steal lunch every day. go to the hot food, mac and cheese, like where you're supposed to weigh and shit. Put that in the cardboard, walk outside, sit on the bench, smoke a cigarette, eat it, throw it away, walk back inside. This kid who was a lifer, like he was 5 or 6 years older than me. He was like the manager. Like you knew this is the best he was doing. Got booked for doing that exact thing, like stealing chicken tenders, and they fired him.
Wow.
And I remember being like, damn, that's messed up. I steal chicken fingers every day.
What are you gonna do? But all right, so then what happened? So you're doing the giant thing, everything's going good there, and then when do you go off to college?
Then that was my
okay.
senior year. So then next year I'm in college, and my job in college, forget, probably spring of my freshman year, I started working for GNC, the supplement store.
Okay.
So yeah, because remember, like, so I'm like,
you're like an athlete, and you're
I'm full meathead, full football meathead,
Yeah.
straight up. So it was a good gig though, because the GNC up at, like, I don't know if you guys remember, Bucknell's in the middle of nowhere. It's like 45 minutes east-west of Penn State in a town called Lewisburg. So it's like,
East-west of Penn State?
East-south. Sorry. Yeah, east-west.
I was like, wait, what?
All right, dude. What are you, fucking MapQuest all of a sudden, Justin? Shut the fuck. Yeah, come on.
I'm glad he corrected me. Yeah. So
I'm sorry, I was paying attention. I was like, wait, east-west.
All right, we all heard east-west, north-south, suck dick. Let's go. Jesus Christ.
But it's middle of nowhere, like, and so the nice thing, the GNC didn't get much traction. So GNC, you're actually, like, you get an hourly, like, minimum wage, and you get paid commission for, like, selling certain stuff. And but I didn't really care, because, like, I would go there, I get one customer every take that back. 5-hour shift, you get like 4 customers. So the rest of the time, I would just do my homework. So
nice.
Because I'm the only one in the store. Like, there's nothing else. Like, and I worked on the later
just whacking down energy drinks.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good college gig, because I can kind of do my homework parallel. Yeah. Kind of it taught me sales too. Not like, I mean, a lot of stuff at GNC is snake oil, but there was some stuff I kind of did like and believe in. So it kind of just taught me to talk to people, different people, kind of see their perspective and try to sell them.
I mean, legit, GNC is a whole store of snake oil. Like,
that's not true.
There's a lot. Like, you're not wrong. There is a lot of snake oil stuff there.
Shout out the Carbo Q16. It's paying me past every drug test I've ever had to take.
Yeah, and they upcharge that. Like,
they sure did. It was $65, and if you came there looking a little sweaty, they'd charge you $70.
That's not true, but they that stuff. I don't know if you know that matter. It like masks, because it makes the drug test inconclusive.
So
right?
You drink the whole thing, fill it up with water. You drink it again. You take like 3 P's, and those 3 P's before the drug test are the darkest urine you've ever seen in your life. And then your next, I don't know, 12 P's are clear as crystal lake water. And so you take and then they came out with ones that would used to come with vitamins to make those future P's a little more yellowy, so people didn't give you a hard time at the drug test place.
Right.
But one time, the happy birthday, my brother, that kid, I told him to do this. He went to go take a drug test in the Mercedes dealership. He was going to go work there. I said, go take the Carbo Q. He takes it, drinks it, goes to the drug test, doesn't release the 3 P's. He pisses the dark evils into the drug test cup. Ooh. They immediately, within like 4 minutes, are like, were you smoking weed while you peed in here? Like, this thing looks like motor oil. Failed, lost the job, and he was like, damn, I spent $65 on that drug test drink. I was like, yeah, you gotta clear out
time to work. Yeah.
Then you have clear peas all day.
Yeah, this was when I worked there, this was like pre-Amazon. So like you could order them online from, I forget, numerous stores, but like the shipping was like 4 days, and it was $10 when you ordered online. So GNC knew that, like, if you were coming in the store, you were desperate, and that's why they upcharged it to like 50 and 60. And it was like one of the few things that was behind. Like, they never had in any store, like, on a shelf. They always, because they're afraid of getting it stolen. They'd have it behind.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet. So
But
Nice.
yeah, and another interesting story there. That's funny you know about that. The other like thing that fascinated me about GNC was that do you guys know what niacin is?
Yeah.
Did you want me to go with this?
No, go.
Yeah.
Go.
So niacin's like a vitamin B, and like I was interested in supplements and just seeing what was what. I remember like I couldn't figure out for the life of me that like almost all of our vitamins were pill form. Then they had some like capsules, and they sold niacin in pill form, but they also sold it in powder form, and the powder form was like 8 times more expensive. I'm like, why would like, and I'm looking at the dosages, and I'm like, it's kind of the same. I don't really get it. And then finally, I came back here. I was in college doing it, but then coming back over the summer, I'd work that first year around this area, and like they send you to different stores. And I went down close to like Brookhaven, closer to like the Chester area, and they had like all this powdered niacin. I'm like, what's going on? And turns out drug dealers, I guess it's got the same like properties as like crack cocaine as far as like melting and stuff like that. So they'd actually buy that and then mix it like with their product to sell more product essentially. But I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Cut the
It was
product.
that's why
Yeah.
that's
it,
why GNC's
yeah.
selling it for so much more. Now
It
I
was
get
the
it.
it was the fanciest, most expensive cutter you could get, like on the market. It was like NiCO2. It would come in like that orange.
Yeah.
I can't remember,
It's
Sunny
either that or
Side or one of
baby
those.
laxative.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much same concept. Ugh.
Yeesh. Yeesh McGeesh. Yeah.
I worked for
But
like a GNC subsidiary, like kind of company that shipped stuff like years later, and same thing. Like we had a locked cage, and it was like all like sex toys and that like niacin cutter, like
yeah.
would always get stolen.
Yeah.
Dude, and
Nice.
I don't know about you, like people, funny, the average person doesn't want to talk to you about like what they want. They kind of want to get it. Dude, some
Yeah.
people would open up to you about everything. I remember I was at Bucknell and this dude who I kind of knew, he was like a frat guy. He was like, man, I get so drunk I can't have sex with my girlfriend. What can I take here that's going to help me with that? And I'm like, dude, like I don't. We might have like a product. I think it's kind of snake oil. Like you should probably just like stop drinking it like
Yeah.
that
Maybe only have 10
much.
beers
Yeah,
instead of
yeah,
15. Maybe that's the solution there, bub.
yeah.
Have you
But
gone to
like,
the gas
yeah.
station and tried the rhino pills?
Yeah. Oh, dude, the horny goat weed, babe. Hit him with the horny goat weed.
But
Dude,
yeah,
that
some
stuff.
people have
I
no
mean,
shame, man. You're getting that. You're like, oh wow, like that's yeah, it's interesting. I never,
oh
I
yeah,
remember
dude.
every time I saw that dude again, I'm like, I never thought it was the same. I remember you, girl.
You're like, ah, hey buddy, how's the fish Vendel doing? Huh?
Yeah.
I got trouble getting hot. What do you got for me, guy?
Okay, so let's keep it moving. So you're in college, right? And then you're doing you did the GNC thing, but then you would go to the Philadelphia Naval Yard for an internship, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that was
Uh,
one
did you
internship,
get
and
that
then
through your old man or what?
yeah, yeah. I mean, he helped. You had to have a certain GPA. My GPA was decent, but yeah, my old man,
Nice.
yeah, got that. And then that kind of led me
So,
because
so were
that,
you like the lineman on the football team that was like the bigger guy but smart and had nice parents and lived in a nice house and a nice family and all that stuff, dude? I knew
yeah,
I knew your type.
we're
I knew your type.
middle class though.
Hey, sure, right,
Yeah.
aren't we all?
Um.
But okay, sorry, I interrupted you. So,
No.
Philadelphia Naval Yard, we actually had my stepdad was on the show, and he's an aquatic engineer, and he's part of his like he went to this like special school that for like they design yachts, right? And he was at this like special school that only like a certain number of people even get accepted to, and part of going to that school is that the summer of your freshman year, you have to be like a internship for the Philadelphia Naval Yard. And
Oh.
he's like, dude, but his like he was doing like the shit work with like he's like, dude, yeah, the guy I'm with has like no teeth and you know what I mean? Like that they're all, basically homeless and like he's working like he's doing like the shit work on the ship and stuff
Oh
like that.
wow.
And
My
yeah,
job,
like
my
they're kind of
experience
like
was not like that at all.
yeah, he was kind of like merchant marines because like he knew like
Uh,
their whole thing was like if you're gonna build these boats, you need to see like from the
the
ground
cusp.
up how it's
Yeah,
done.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was really cool. So, but either way, so what are you doing at as the internship at the Naval Yard?
Oh man, they work on gas turbines for some of the ships. So some basic like CAD drawings, like 2D drawing. Kind of like odd ends for random engineers there that needed help. But I mean, they had a few internships. They didn't have too much for me to do be honest with you. This is over a decade ago. But
Yeah.
it was good to see the process. That's kind of where I learned, interestingly, because I got a degree in mechanical engineering, and
Yeah.
where I kind of learned I was probably too impatient for mechanical engineering, because like a lot of that type of design, like by the time you come up with, you do all the drawings and you figure it out, by the time it comes to reality is like years later. And at that same time in college, I was getting introduced to like software and just like writing code and like seeing the
Ooh.
results like immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
this is pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
a interesting. That was another job where I'm like, engines and stuff like that. Like some people love car engines and like love the thermodynamics of it. And
Yeah.
it just it didn't that stuff didn't interest me as much. So I knew at the time I liked the military, but I probably wasn't gonna be involved too much in like engine stuff. It just didn't interest me that much. But it opened up the next door I had, which was internship at Lockheed Martin. So
Okay.
which then led into a full-time job,
All
after
right.
that.
So what were you
So,
doing like so then you go to Lockheed Martin. What was the like initial thing you were doing at Lockheed Martin?
so Lockheed, this was pretty cool because you got there's like 4,000 people over there in that New Jersey plant.
Whoa.
You come in and it was pretty cool. They put us through. There was like I think 15 of us selected for like they call it an engineering leadership development program. So every year, they put you through like we had one class, and I made some really good friends with that class. And they actually pay for your masters. They give you leadership
Whoa.
courses, and then you get 4 9-month jobs throughout Lockheed. So you get to kind of like
You kind of
test out
touch
different
everything a
things.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So over
Dude, that's
there,
a hell of an internship.
yeah, no,
Jeez.
no. I'm sorry. I had a 3 months internship that led to the start of this the next year. So the
Still,
whole to be
that's
the
a
full one.
hell of a gig there, man.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Dude, it was pretty cool because they work on ballistic missile defense on so the most of what they do there is on naval ships. So the idea if you got like an adversary like North Korea that's going to launch a missile at Japan, we'll
Yeah.
park a destroyer or cruiser in theory, hopefully it never gets to this, but we could park a
Yeah.
destroyer or cruiser over there, and if North Korea were to launch a missile, then we could, launch one and shoot it
Oh,
shoot
kind
it
of
out
like
of the sky.
intercept it.
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
Dude.
So
Lockheed build
see,
the Iron Dome?
um, so it's been a while. I don't know if they helped. Is there Patriot missiles involved in that? So we were all everything that we did was naval. So and then there's like you probably heard the Patriot missile before. That's another ground-based one. The Iron Dome, it's been a while. I forget who actually like how. I'm sure we helped out with that a little bit, like someone in the
Or you see
U.S. I
those
can't remember if it was Lockheed or
automated
not.
those like automated Gatling
Interceptor.
guns that'll follow like any missile drone in the air, and it has tracer rounds and it'll be automated. Just like
Are you talking about
Whoa.
the ships though? They call it the Sea Whiz, the R2D2. You
yeah,
ever
they'll
see
have it
that?
on like
Yeah, yeah,
the cars. Or they'll have it on like big ships, and it just
yeah,
like a sprinkler, like automated,
yeah.
just
The joke
turn.
though in the industry, like if you hear that, like the joke is like abandoned ship because that means that like it went through all the other layers
Oh, damn.
and it's really close. So
Whoa.
um yeah, so it was cool. That was working on that. You get a secret clearance. So not polygraph. Top secrets where you actually get polygraph, but secret clearance coming out of college is just like pretty cool to learn like classified
Yeah,
information.
bro. Dude,
It's
that's really cool.
yeah, it's interesting because it's not what they like. I don't know. You think you're gonna get secret clearance, and they're gonna be like, "All right, we'll tell you all about the Kennedy assassination," but it's not like that at all. It's all
Area 51,
yeah,
and behind
They're
George
basically
yeah,
just
Washington's face on Mount
yeah,
Rushmore.
yeah, 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 yeah. They're
So
basically just saying like, look, you're given this, and
We're
if
gonna
you
tell
tell
you how
anyone what we're
bombs
showing
work.
you, you're dead. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
yeah,
gonna tell you how bombs work, and if you tell
it,
anyone else how bombs work, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
yeah.
just let you know, we'll bomb your house. Yeah.
It was it's funny because like they were very it's weird seeing I'm not gonna get into politics, but like I know both sides did it, like take classified info home. Like we were told if we did that, like you're fired, like you're
Big
done, you know
time.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that happened to a few. It was a mistake. It's like usually I think a few people did it by mistake once, and then second time it's done, like and
Yeah.
even the first mistake had to be like not that bad. But
Take home sensitive documents one time, shame on me. Take home sensitive documents twice, shame on you, U.S. government.
but yeah, but going back to the secret clearance, it was pretty wild because what you learn, it's all need to know. So like being in the defense, we learned a lot about other countries' offensive capabilities, like all the classified info
Yeah.
about. So I couldn't tell you. We didn't learn anything about how our offensive missiles, like the U.S., our offensive missiles, we didn't really have to know that, right? Because we're not shooting that down. But other countries, like their capabilities, what they're working on, it was pretty cool. It was interesting too, because
Dude,
like
that's
over
really
yeah,
cool.
over time things come unclassified. So like I remember, years later when I left Lockheed, I want to say exactly what it was, but I saw something in the news about like this country's new missile. I'm like, oh, I knew about that like 8 years ago. It's funny that like now that
Ah,
they're like, yeah. And then it'll
dude,
tell you,
that's wild.
it always made me wonder, because like the classified info would be about other countries, like their capabilities, but like I'm always like, how do we get that? But like they wouldn't, like I don't need to know that. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's not up to you, but
yeah,
still,
but it
that's
was
badass.
yeah. And the cool thing too there was one of my jobs, this is like pre-marriage, like pre-kids, was all the naval ships when they get installed, they're at like naval ships are cool because they're usually at cool places, right? They're not in the middle of Iowa. You can't have that. So
Yeah.
I lived in Pearl Harbor area, like Hawaii for a month. I went to Japan for a month, had to fly out to like
What?
Corona, down in Virginia. Like so I got to travel, a lot, and live in some cool places. So to
Dude,
kind of work on the ship. Yeah.
dude, that's badass. All
What's
right. Nice. Go
what's
ahead,
the food in
Justin.
Japan?
Mhm.
How was the food in Japan?
Dude, it was good, but it makes you feel, I'm already a fat guy, but like you go out and like their portion
Don't say
sizes
that, Bri.
are so small. Like I'd order a
Oh.
dinner, I'm like, is this it? Like, can I order three of them? Like, so, but the food was great, man. They had some really good. They had this one place I'll never forget. They had the best sushi ever, and it was on a conveyor belt. And
Yeah.
the sushi was on a plate. Like every plate had a color on it, and the cost, like the plates cost different depending on what the sushi was. And then
Yeah.
whatever you wanted, you would just take off and eat. And when you were done, you'd bring your stack of plates out, and then like they counted up and you pay for it. So, yeah,
Dude, that's pretty
yeah,
smart.
yeah.
Nice. Damn, that Japanese think
Just,
everything. Nice. So
and
then,
and real quick, Pam, another cool thing was they had vending machines with hot coffee that comes out like in a soda can. And I don't know, like Tommy Lee Jones was on a ton of advertising there. Like apparently he's like big. Like I remember like every day right outside the Naval Yard, I go get like a can of coffee and see like Tommy Lee Jones like picture on it. Yeah, good
That's
times.
dude, that's
yeah.
hilarious.
Chris Pratt apparently has like a huge like somewhere in Asia like ad campaign that like they've been airing on the internet.
In
You can
Japan
see
or
Really?
maybe it is Japan, but like state like a lot of our like Arnold's done it. A lot of like our American actors go over there do an ad campaign that to hopefully never be seen.
That's interesting.
This is my happy face.
Dude, that's hilarious. So okay, so then you're doing your stuff, you're hanging out. So then you would train, like you would stay somewhat in security, but you would kind of move to this like what you're doing
It
now, right?
it was still tech. So at that point, one thing I kind of failed to mention, I was mechanical engineering, and then like I graduated in '09. So that was when like the stocks, everything was down. So, but Lockheed was
Oh
still
yeah,
doing well. But that was like my first time to really get into software, because like it was a lot of physics, like intercepting missiles, like it's a physics, like a rocket science problem. But it's a lot of software too on like simulating and things like that. So that software side, and like actually like my group was responsible for testing things, like testing to make sure it actually works before it goes in the ship. So with that experience, I went eventually to DirecTV, which, well, they bought a small company at the time that did home
yeah,
security. So I actually went to DirecTV in 2014, I think. But a big part of that too was my wife's from Plymouth Meeting, and we were living in Jersey in Cherry Hill, and we like the neighborhood and things like that. But like my entire family is from, it still lives in this area. Her entire family still lives in, I say this area, Montgomery County, Delaware County area. So we wanted to get back to Pennsylvania. So it was kind of an
yeah,
opportunity to kind of get out of Jersey and come back to
yeah,
Pennsylvania, and work
yeah,
there for home security, and have a bigger, like, one thing about Lockheed is like you're one of 1,000 people that test something before it goes into ship, but it was a
yeah.
much smaller engineering team, to kind of have more of a footprint.
Nice. That's fun though, right? Like that's what you want. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, 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 especially when you get a little older in your career.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So then that kind of transitions to where you are now. So you're living, so give us a day in the life of what life is like now. So you're the father of 4 kids, you're married, you have a home, you're working a job. So give us a typical day of what you got going on.
So pre-COVID, we used to have office in Bluebell. We still have office in Bluebell actually, but pre-COVID, we were working in the office every single day, which could be actually challenging in many ways when you're testing like Wi-Fi devices, especially like cameras, because
Yeah.
everyone is like flooding the Wi-Fi network with high, like 1080 videos and things like that. So and we were already outgrowing our office. COVID hit, and like you guys remember that time, it was kind of like chaos of what's going
So,
on. So
yeah.
we started to work remote, and it's funny because like a lot of problems of like there's too much on the Wi-Fi, whatever, all that like started to solve itself. And
Yeah.
in addition to that, we had to grow in size. Like I've been working for DirecTV since 2015. My company was bought and sold, and different things happened, but I'm still in the security business. But we had to like triple in size, so we started to hire people, and then about 6 months into hiring, we kind of like asked, are we ever going to go back to the office? And the answer was no. So like we started hiring everywhere in the continental US, essentially.
Okay.
We joke that we don't hire that many people from California because they want too much of a salary compared to the rest of the rest of the US. But there's folks on my team that work in Michigan, Ohio, Florida, South Carolina, Texas, all over. So I've got 31 folks in my org now. My day, I'm not as hands-on as I used to be, which is a little unfortunate, but like in the position what I kind of have to do, it kind of makes sense. So spend half my day in meetings and just kind of strategizing like on the next products that are coming out. And
Yeah.
then probably the other half day, I'm a little bit more hands-on. If customers are reporting about issues in the field, or if something has to be tested immediately, like I'll kind of jump in there and try to help out with things like that. But it's cool. Like all the stuff that we're working with are, cell phones, your typical home security system. It doesn't matter what system, like, what company you use. You got your
Yeah.
cell phones, devices that can communicate with typically cameras, hub in the house, and
Yeah.
sensors and devices in your house, essentially
Yeah.
locks, thermostats, things like that.
Are
So
you big in
um,
IoT at all?
yeah, I mean that's pretty much all that we do. So it's funny, we're
Same.
kind of bringing this back to what the beginning of this convo. Like I feel terrible for my kids because like they're not gonna be able to get away from anything, man. I got
No.
cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
I know when someone gets home. I know everything.
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
all the stuff I did when I was a kid. Like they have no shot.
Well, dude,
At
like
least
that, but
at least in
that's
my house. At least in my house.
yeah, but that's part of the gimmick, though. You know what I mean? Like, that I mean, that's blessing and the curse, but that's just it is what it is.
There's a
You
will, there's
know?
a way. They get their
Yeah.
hands on your cell
But
phone, they just silence your vibration on your phone so you don't get the alert messages.
but that's the thing though, is that like criminals, like people find a way. You know what I mean? These
That's
kids,
what,
they'll
yeah.
find a way, man. Like people thought like, when we were,
That's true. Yeah.
people will find like you're always gonna be in business, bro, because people are always gonna find a way around this
Yeah,
stuff.
all you
You
gotta
know
do
what
is
I mean?
unplug the router and sneak out of the house.
There you go. So
It
nice. All
works on
right.
LTE backup, man. Don't worry, we got that covered.
Gotta
So
get up
nice.
pretty early. You wanna
Yeah. So all right, we are coming towards the top of time though. So Bri, me and Justin are usually on the same page with this, but we would love to have you back on the show if you'd be willing to come back on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of
Yeah,
course,
I have a
man.
myriad of questions we didn't get to.
Go ahead, Justin.
Well, no, I mean, there's no time for
You
me
can save it
now.
to next time. That's fine. I know
Yeah.
we went over.
I'll
It's all
bombard
good.
you with a myriad of odd questions when you return.
When you return, first thing we will do is bombard you with a myriad of odd questions. How's that sound?
I got a lot more funny stories from Lockheed and even the current one too. So
yeah,
I
Nice.
definitely come back.
How much different do
Love
you
it.
think Catholicism would be if like Jesus was born in Beijing instead of Jerusalem?
Whoa, man.
That's what you wanted to ask?
I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough to
I'm
answer
joking.
that one.
I'm joking.
Okay.
I mean, sheesh. I mean, could it be any more different? I don't know.
I think if I do come back, I do maybe bring me and Josh back because I I love Josh to death, and I really like 95% of what he said, but the whole flat Earth thing, man, I gotta convince him. I gotta
You
bring him
want to be
back
on?
down.
You say you want to be on with him together?
To convince him that the Earth is not flat. I promise.
Yeah,
I'm not
dude,
certain of
perfect.
everything, but I'm
Let's do that.
promise.
Space
Dude,
is
we've
fake.
been like we've been
Satellites
looking
are
to
on
do that.
balloons.
So, all right. So before we get out of here, we are coming towards the top of time. Bryce, is there anything you want to say to your family and friends before we take off?
I wasn't prepared for that. No, I thank you guys again. I mean, I appreciate you guys having me.
No,
I'm sorry I missed the first time. I'm glad I could pick up for this time.
it's all good. You don't even have to bring that up. We're all good. So, but no, man. Thanks for being on. This was so much fun. I knew we were gonna have a good time and just have a nice chat. You did a great job. Storytelling was a lot of fun. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
J-Dub, what do you got before we get out of here?
A good old time. I'm excited to have you come on back down, and we'll discuss the futures of weaponry. And I liked it. It's fun.
Yeah, I would love to have you back on with, and because we have talked about, like, we can't always be everybody's in love, like there's got to be some discussion on this show and possible debating topics. So yeah, to get you and Josh. So it'll be two, because Justin, you're a flat earther, right?
I mean, I don't really believe the earth is flat, but it makes me so happy to watch the videos of people who think that the earth is flat. So like,
You're troll
yes,
fodder is what you are.
yeah, dude, their space is fake. There's a layer of water above the earth and an ice wall, and it's so cool. It's
Yep.
so cool.
And like the funny thing about it is, like, a lot of conspiracy theories, like there's always a motive that you're like, all right, well, I think it's a bad theory, but I can see your motive. But I don't get, like, the flat earth thing. I don't even get the motive that people like.
Not even
Like,
so. Some people believe that beyond the ice wall is more like planet and Earth and stuff, and that gets me even more excited because, like, what are they doing? Like, is Wakanda over there? Narnia over there? We're doing cool stuff over there, trying to keep us alive.
Yeah.
Also, how do you fly from California to Japan and then fly from? Oh, I love it so much. Satellites are on balloons. When I watched a YouTube video that told me satellites were on balloons, and I was just like, I'm so happy to be alive right now.
Yeah.
It is a great time to be alive. Let's be full transparency there. So nice. Well, speaking of the earth not being flat, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, coming today by the one and only J-Dub Justin Richardson, and our guest today is the man, the myth, the legend himself, the one and only Brian Peters. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can also on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workperspectives@gmail.com. And please like, subscribe, so keep bringing you this sweet, sweet content. Thank you for listening, and have a good one. Thanks. See ya.